All right. Seems we're echoing. All right. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so good afternoon, ARC 4 classes. I gotta apologize if my stream is kind of bad because my internet is still really not good. Uh, hello, Sky Cable. Please fix your internet, or maybe I'll just go to another server or ISP. So we will be covering weeks 8, 9, 10. And let's start by looking at our outline for today. So topics for this week, we will be going through the introduction to SketchUp, a graphical user interface, basic modeling commands, and advanced modeling commands. So our objectives are, of course, first is introduce ourselves to SketchUp, get familiar with the graphical user interface, learn how to use the following basic tools. Select line, rectangle, circle, arc, make component, eraser, tape, measure, paint, push and pull, move, group, rotate, offset, orbit, pan, and zoom. Excuse me. And hello. Hello. Okay, and learn how to use the following advanced commands. Location, camera style, scenes, shadows, export, 3D model warehouse. All right, so before we move on, I'd like to share my lecture. So let's go to a lecture. Let me see how this works. So I will share this there. I hope you guys wait. There it is. All right, so sorry. Again. All right. So SketchUp Make. We're using the free version. The last free version of SketchUp Make as a downloadable software was in 2017. So if you download or are using the most recent SketchUp Studio free trial for 3 days, it's basically the same, but you can still download the SketchUp Make version from 3 years ago. This is the presentation that was given to us by the Studio Lab. So of course it talks about the 2016 version, although we're using the 2017 version. So it says here, what's new? Better inferencing, bigger group of materials, updated GUI. So these are the other improvements for 2017. Transparency, high DPI modeling, smart offset, perpendicular face inferencing, smart rectangles, They're now locking for the axis using the arrow keys. And of course, you can use the SketchUp browser. But the 2020 version, you can do that as well, and it's much better. So GUI, what is the graphical user interface of SketchUp? So this is what you will see, and this is your drawing area. It is the area where your view is, your viewing pane basically is. You can manipulate your viewing angles, perspective. This is the pull-down menu. It is usually File, Edit, View, Camera, Draw, Tools, Window, Extensions, and others if you add plugins or other add-ons. This is your toolbars. This area here is for your default tray. This is usually composed of entity info, materials, components, styles, shadows, instructor. Down here is your status bar. So obviously it provides you the current status the program is in. It could be in the middle of a command or others. This is your measurement bar. This is where you can input your measurements or where measurements are shown. And of course, these are your toolbars. So you have the view toolbar, styles toolbar, shadows toolbar, and large tool set. This is your axis, x-axis. I think the x-axis is the red, and the y-axis is the green, and the z-axis is the blue. Using your mouse, you can manipulate the drawing pane or where you see your view. So the view tools are as follows. The scroll button is used for zooming. The click drag is the orbit. If you want to pan, you can use shift click and then drag your mouse. And if you want to recenter your view, just double click. What are your most main, like your principal tools? So there on the upper left, select, component, bucket, erase. You have your draw tools, rectangle, line, circle, arc, polygon. Of course, there are functions while you use these tools. They're like the OSnap and CAD Relearn. This one's automatic snaps. So you can use, or it can snap to the endpoint, midpoint, on the edge, the center, or intersection. Now there are also edit tools. Move, push, or pull, rotate, sweep, scale, and offset. Of course, on your course packs, these are presented as your lecture notes for each week. So they are presented differently from this lecture, but they cover the same topics. It might be more detailed and stepwise in your lecture notes in the course pack. There's context functions, which if you right-click an object, a window will pop out, which is basically your functions for the context. And in this case, in this image or this slide is showing you that the option being chosen in the context function is to reverse the face of this object. Right? And you can also select all of these entities and turn them into one group. So now they're a group. There's other context functions. And here are the axis constraints. So you have the X, Y, and Z axis. And of course, construction tools, tape measure, dimension, angle, callouts or annotations, lock in your axis or 3D text. Camera tools such as orbiting, pan, zoom, zoom an area, and zoom extents. And of course, these deal with the camera itself. If you want to place the camera, place the view, do a walkthrough. There's also options to do sections. The views toolbars provides preset views for you. These can be top view, left view, right view, rear view, front view, and different types of files to render under the views toolbar. And you have the shadow toolbar, which we will discuss later. So of course, there's this inferencing where you can use different arrows to lock down key, left key, up key. This is the keyboard. So you can either lock the x-axis, y-axis, or z-axis. Right. So we are done with that. Okay, so I guess we can go to our, let's take a break. All right, so let's take a quick break. Right, so that was a quick break, and we went through the introduction to SketchUp. Now, continue with actually using the software. So bringing up SketchUp Make. Again, as we got from the lecture, this is your GUI, your graphical user interface. And I wonder if you can see my mouse. Good, all right. So, just this little fit. Okay. So again, this is your drawing pane, and then you have your pull down menus over here. So let's go through all of them one by one. So under File, you have New. Obviously, that's to make a new drawing or new SketchUp. Sorry. Hello. Testing my microphone. Open as if you want to open a new SketchUp file. Save, of course, is to save your existing drawing. Save as is if you want to save it as another file. And of course, you have here a geolocation if you want to add a location. Then we have warehouse. And then for 3D warehouse, you can get model, or you can share a model. Of course, you can import other. Models into your SketchUp. Oh, by the way, I think we have something new. Okay, so
No.
hi, Karen. So good to see you after our long break, and then the typhoon came. So it's like the research
break, and then 1 week.
break came first, and then the typhoon.
Yeah, like 2 week break, 1 week break, and then 1 week of resume for a while, and then another week for
Yeah,
the typhoon.
It was the recovery period. So we just finished the lecture part of the SketchUp. Now we're going to this software itself. So I guess what we'd like to do now is we're not done with the graphic interface. Well, actually, for the lecture. But here, we're going through the pull-down menu. So we just went to export. We did 2, 3 models. What do you do when you export, Aaron?
Well, if I'm exporting the model, then I said 3D model. But if it's for like 2D or for CAD, 2D graphic.
Yeah, usually that's how it works, right? Like when I'm done with my model, I export it into a 2D graphic. I can either fix that or improve on it using, say, Photoshop or GIMP. Then use that into CAD. Sometimes I export it as a 3D model if I want to do other things to it. Like if you
or even for Lumion or other rendering software, sometimes you have to
Lumion,
model.
Rhino, or whatever you like. And of course, you have print setup, which is basically setting up your printer. Print preview provides a preview of what you're going to print, and of course, print. Under the edit pull-down menu, you have undo, redo, cut, copy, paste, paste in place, delete, guides. Hide is something that's useful. What do you think, Karen?
What again? What? I didn't hear, sorry. Hide the elements. Yeah. Or you can just layer.
I find the hide useful. Like, if I want to hide the layers for furniture. So I'm just looking at the architecture. Of course, you have lock and unlock. And for view, you have toolbars itself. Hidden geometry is used for when you hide something. It will show it as like dashed lines. And then to show section planes, section cuts. So the difference between, what's the difference, Karen?
Well, don't usually use that, but the planes will show the yung parang box. Yung,
The cutting plane itself.
mm,
Yeah. And the section cut shows where the model has been cut.
mm,
So if you remove this check from the section, the model will revert to its original. If you put it back on, it will show the model cut by the section
cutting the
plane.
second plane. Yeah.
Of course, you can turn off and on this or any guides you made. Turn on and off shadows, fog, manipulate edge styles, which are the edges, back edges, profiles, depth, hue, and extension. Manipulate face styles, either use X-ray, wireframe, hidden line, shaded with Technochrome, and manipulate component edit. And of course, animation. Usually, we use scenes, create scenes, right?
Mm,
But in fact, the scenes ordered numerically are basically the frames in an animation, right? Okay, and then we have our standard views under camera, top, bottom, front, back, left, right, and ISO. And then we have parallel projection, perspective, 2-point perspective. So when is the parallel projection useful,
mm.
Karen?
For elevations, or if you want sections, since it's gonna make the view a parallel projection. It won't be an axonometric or perspective view.
Yes,
It's gonna be flat.
So-
Yeah.
it's flat. Yeah,
For
so
elevations
it's
and all.
perfect for elevations.
Yeah.
But this is more like probably if you're in the beginning of design dev and you want
Mm.
to show quick elevations that are rendered,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Or even for reference when you transfer it to
A basis
like,
only,
yeah.
yes. But you do not use it as a means to begin. Like
Yeah.
you export it and use it as is in CAD because
Mm,
that's terrible.
yeah, it's it's not very accurate, the model.
You'll have,
is
yeah, you have too many
You're gonna have to
lines.
fix it.
You will have to fix it. You definitely have to fix it. So use it as a reference to know how it looks, but draw it from
Yeah.
scratch on CAD. Of course, you can match your photo, orbit, pan, zoom, field of view, zoom window, zoom extents, position your camera, walk, look around. And under draw, you have lines, either draw a line or freehand. For arcs, you have arc, 2-point, 3-point, pie, shapes, rectangle, rotated rectangle, circle, polygon. And for the tools, pull down, you have select, eraser, paint bucket, move, rotate, scale, push and pull, follow, me, offset, outer shell, tape measure, protractor, axis, dimensions, text, section plane, and interact down here. Okay, so for Windows pull down menu, you have default tray. So these select or unselect different layer boxes will show or menus. Like here's the layer menu, and I just all right, and then manage the trace if you want to manage tray. This is a tray. Model info is important. Um, what do you use the model info for, Karen?
Uh, Actually, I don't really use it that much.
Well, I use it because if you want to be, let's say you're the type that's thorough with your models, you can actually give a name and a description to your model. Say, pretend this is, like that. Like Sean is resident, right? Hello.
You know?
Sorry, I was. My microphone got cut. I just realized something. Just wait. This mic. Using another microphone, which is funny.
You're the one in there.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway. And then you could put a description. So. Like that. Of course, you can edit here the scene transitions from each scene, how fast the transitions are from each scene if you're going to make an animation. Also, the different components, you can edit these, provide credits if you want to add model authors or others for the text. What are the size and type of font used for the text and dimensions? Geolocation, if you want to add a location using this one is like automated, so you choose on a map. This is a set manual location, so you put longitude, latitude, forest rendering. And to me, this is the best part, which is the statistics. Because here you can, if your file is kind of big and you want to get down, you can press purge unused. And that's the same as the purge function in AutoCAD, which can reduce the amount of unused elements in your file and make it lighter. And extraneous items, remove them. And same as audit in AutoCAD, you can click on fix problems because that will fix a lot of your problems in your model, like models disappearing, models flickering, models crashing, stuff like that. Of course, you have the text and the units here. Of course, you must check that you're using millimeters. Check. All right, so that was model info. And of course, you have preferences, mostly regarding the how your software is performing. And then you have 3D Warehouse, okay, which is, I guess, is our favorite.
Everything.
And oh wow, today is Cyber Monday. And Cyber Monday means that you have 20% off a SketchUp Pro subscription. Interesting. So for now, we click on X. And why do you Karen, why do you like this?
Well, you can download everything. A lot of models are available, and it's free.
So it's free, exactly. And I guess when I was like our students, we're not yet working, having a ton of work, this became my replacement for The Sims, where before I got hooked on The Sims because I kept on making houses.
Yeah.
But here, it's like another level. Can we see your dog?
They're playing.
Is it a big dog?
No. 4 small dogs. Shih Tzu.
So
brown
cute.
It's noisy.
Noisy dog.
Yes.
So 3D warehouse is amazing because everything is there,
Mm.
uh,
You can actually download
down to like a screw.
yeah.
You can download the screw if you like.
Even a
Let's see.
famous
I know you
building.
can download.
Sometimes there's a model of a famous building.
Yeah. So look at that. You need a screw.
Mhm.
But what I love here is that actual furniture
Mm.
that you can buy
Yeah.
is actually here. Of course, double check the measurements, but usually they're exact. So, for
Mm.
example, if your client likes IKEA, wants to use some IKEA furniture, and this is it. You can actually use these, and they're to scale, so you know if they're gonna fit in your
Actually, a lot of
space that you're
manufacturers are
designing.
doing that now. They're creating 3D
Yes,
models
a
of
lot.
their product.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Because it is the gateway to buying their product. Because you say, oh, it already fits. This is how it looks like.
Yeah.
You know, it's as it is. So to me, this is a lifesaver. Schematic to design dev, creating schemes, concepts, quick charades for exterior and interior design, architectural interiors, every furniture design, all of those things. So for us, for example, if you put color, you can get the color items, even cars.
So
Yeah, so
measurements are
that's
already correct. You don't have to research the correct height and stuff sometimes.
yes,
If you're modeling.
sometimes, but most of the time,
Still, you still have to.
you at least double check quickly, just very
Yeah.
quickly, just to see. And if you feel like there's something odd about the measurement, then you double check. That's just due diligence. It is kind of weird. I'm trying to put up a BMW, but nothing's coming up. It's for a Toyota. Oh, they don't like. What car do you think is here? There should be cars here. There you go. There's some cars, but I know. You can put cars here.
Sometimes it's fake, like they just put an image in the model. Sometimes.
Probably the names are wrong because this is not as good in finding. Oh, because you have to press models. There you go. So if you put cars, there you go. See? There you go. All the cars you want. Double check the dimensions, but at the least you have the model and you just have to scale it. Now you can check the fit and how it looks inside. And of course, for landscape architects, tons of plants.
Actually, even for architects, it's
And
nicer.
for
The model
architects,
looks nicer with entourage. The lot
yes,
of
that's
pieces.
right. And depending on the power of your computer, you can either make it very detailed or not detailed. For those who don't have too much computing power, they usually just export the SketchUp and use a graphical editor to add the entourage.
You can add the PNG files of the entourage, like the trees.
Correct, the old style. Advantage of this is whatever view you take.
Yeah, and the shadows, you reflect.
Correct, the shadows you
You
can.
don't have to add the shadows.
And this, yes, it's difficult. It's like that's what they call manual, right? In Photoshop. This plant looks pretty. It's just that you have to have an account in order to download it into your. So for interior designers, that's wonderful. For architects, all of the fixtures you like, American Standard, Kohler. Let's say you want a Fisher and Pagel. Everything is here. So it's wonderful. So that's it. And of course, you have Extension Warehouse. This is where you can get plugins and whatnot. So let's not wait for that. And these are more advanced. Okay, and then I have installed a extension. I like this because it's free. It's basically high quality plans for rendering, which changes based on the perspective, and it's when you like render on V-Ray or whatnot. So, of course, you can buy more of these, but it looks like this when you place it. Yeah, when you place it. You know what? I'm having a problem with this. Wait, this SketchUp makeup line because the shortcuts are not working. So we have to double check. Reset. It's supposed to come out. Like, let's check. Okay, I pressed reset already. That should work. There you go. Good job. Okay. So it looks like this, but then when you render it, it becomes real. All right. So now let's go to basic modeling commands. And I guess the first one we should do is select. So this at the top left is the select tool. If you hover over the tool, it basically tells you what it does, the name of the tool and what it does. So the beauty about SketchUp is you can actually learn it yourself, right, Karen?
Yeah, it's actually very user friendly and it's easy to learn. Unlike CAD is a little harder to self-study. So
they really made this accessible to many different types of people. Select tool, you click it, and it allows you to select entities or objects. That's how simple it is. Line. Next, we have the line tool. So this is the line tool. Basically, you identify 2 points. It's geometry. 2 points, make a line. Because you have access to this line, move along certain axes. So you make it along the blue axis. Define the length of this line. Yeah, so you can define the length of this line. So for example, if I put 1000 and enter, now it becomes a 1000 millimeter going up. Now I can do the same here, and now a snap comes out, says from point, which is great because we remember how long that line is. But since the snap shows us that is the length of the line underneath, if you look on the lower right, you can see that the length is defined at 8031 millimeters. So you can click here, left click, to define it there, and then continue that here. And of course, like in geometry, if you define 4 sides, define at least 3 sides. Here's 4. You can come up with a closed polygon. On to our next function, which is so usually the snap works placing the let's say the rectangle It's our tool right now based on the plane where the point is. So right now it's on the green and how do you call that? The green and red axis, which is the blue.
X and Y.
Yeah, but if you use your keyboard arrow keys, up is this one, see? And then arrow key is the red. And then the left is the green. You're not limited to just the blue, because again, when you do this tool, it will base its plane on where your mouse cursor is. So if I went on this plane, it changes to the red plane, right? But if you move it, it turns to blue. But if I was here and I wanted it to, I clicked and I want it to be on the green lane, then I can do the left key arrow on my keyboard, and it will make my rectangle on the plane that I wanted it to be, right? So circle's the same. You can define a radius, so a starting point radius. So I can define it here. So I want it to be 500 millimeters radius. Let's say I want it to be on there, the blue. If I don't like the blue, I want it on let's see the red. No, it's just the same. Okay. All right. And then the arc. So you can make the arc here. You can choose between the arc, just just an arc. Like that. Very, very good. If you're making like a driveway, I guess. Rotunda. I mean, driveway. Yeah. And you use the offset. Sorry, not that. Yeah, the offset tool to offset this and make a driveway, something like that. But of course, you can do the 2-point, 3-point, and pi. So the pi's I want to make a pi, right? All right, and then our next one is make component. Okay, Karen, what's the difference between a group and a component?
In the component. Well, the component is, if you edit one of its type, it will change for all the other component of the same type. And like with the group, you just group it.
Yeah, so if this was CAD, which is the block?
The component.
Yeah, and they share a group. So before we do the group or component, let's do the push and pull. So let's push this. So I choose the face. I can use P as a shortcut and basically push it. It's so easy.
One of the most used.
It is the most used. And again, you can define how the distance. So unlike in AutoCAD, you specifically have to define if it's going to be a positive or negative number. In AutoCAD, in Sketch, you don't. It's an absolute number. Well, you can actually do it. Can you do it?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can do a negative, but how do I say this? Wherever you are pushing it, or pulling it, or either, that's a positive. Because it's also positive here. But that means that if I did a negative, it will go to the other direction. Is that right, Karen?
Yes.
So let's do this. So 1,500. And to measure that this was correct, we can use T, which is tape measure. One end, click, and the other end. And if you don't want to make a guide or something, you can leave it there, and it will show you that it's 1,500. Or you can also check on the lower right, which says 1,500. If you do click this, oh, nothing happened. How do you do the guide again?
I think the compass.
Compass.
Um,
Oh, like this. So, for example, I'm going to do 1,000. There. See? There. See?
oh, I don't,
So, use the tape measure to make a guide as well. Like if I wanted to make something 1,000 millimeters off the x-axis of this object. All right. So now let's do the group or component. So to make this group, we need to learn how to select. If you click this once, you click the face. If you double click it, you click the face and the, what do you call this again, Karen?
boundary lines. The boundary lines of the face, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a technical name. Sige, bounding lines. No, that's about. But if you triple click it, it will select all the objects connected to this. So that's triple click. So we want to make it a group. Yeah. Okay, so that's a group. And if we make a component, let's move this away. First, press M, and you can move it wherever you like. And if I select this, click once, I press M, it's fine. It's gonna go with me. Let's push this up, maybe 200, and triple click, and turn in a component. A component is different because it's gonna ask you to name it. So we can call this circle top, something like that. And create. All right. So now we can move this, and when you move, press the M keyboard, and you can see that you can choose wherever on this object, and that will be the reference moved. At the same time, there are these red indicators which allow you to rotate the object along that axis that you chose. They put it all in one because it's easy. All right, so now, let's say I want to bring it to, but I need to pan. No problem, just press H for the hand, move to where you want to go, and resume your last command, which was move. So I press M. And now we're back to that same. I want to click it here. It's good. Right. What can you do with command? That's interesting and uses the control key. So if you want to multiply this many times, for example, I will get this. I want to lock it to the blue axis. So I press up key. And I don't want to delete the source object, I press control. So now the original is still there. And let's say I want to move this by 100 mm, enter. Oh, it's not good. Let's make it more. Let's make it 400. There, so see? But if I wanted to make 3 of these, right after I indicated the distance, I now do times 3. Sorry, X. That's the times. So if you look at the lower right, it's X. X3, so it will make 3 of what I just did. Okay, so that's what you can do with the move function. Very good and easy. Let's do orbit. So if you type O, or if you press O on your keyboard, you can now orbit. Okay. Same thing happens when you press down on the scroll button of your mouse. Now, if you're at O and you want to go back to select button, what do you press, Karen?
Uh, I just use the mouse. I don't know. I don't
Okay, you can press the keyboard. Sorry, the space bar in the keyboard. Brings back you to select. All right. Now, pan is easy. Uh, Basically, panning use the H command, which is hand. Pan. And then zoom, you can use the mouse. This one. To zoom.
You can
Okay.
also find with shift. Is that correct? I'm using so much software, I don't remember. No, shift and that's called.
Yeah. So if you're on the orbit tool and you wanna pan, you use shift.
Hmm.
One day you will figure out or find out why this is useful when you're doing models. All these shortcuts become very, very useful. Same thing with AutoCAD. I think if you press Control, then you move into orbit. If you were on the P button. All right, so those are all the basic commands we covered. If you want to see everything that in your model, you use zoom extents, which is the same as zoom extents in AutoCAD. Can you see? Good. Okay, so let's see if we can download something. Let me get something. Can we download? I hope this works. Let's download it. How does this look like? Okay, there. Let's just use that. Okay. Location. So how do we add a location? You can go to File, Geolocation, and add a location. So when you add a location, okay, you have to be logged in. But basically what happens here is if you can see the back of this, there's a map. And you're just going to choose the map where you're going to locate this project that you're doing. Alternatively, you can select a manual geolocation in the model info. Okay, so I think that's 21, 5, 14 for Metro Manila, something like that. Okay, double check that. Next, camera. All right, so with the camera, oh, wait, Karen, we forgot paint. That's one of the basic stuff. So let's go there. Right side. Hi, I'm sorry. That's what you call um, your internet just dying off. Are you there, Karen?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Let me just set this up. Okay, so where were we?
The paint or material tool. I think.
Yes. So we were opening the components, so and then styles, shadows, instructions. So it's sorry, instructor layers. So all of these are more advanced, except probably for the materials. So here we have a materials um, palette. Palette, yeah. You can choose from a lot of them. And for example, under wood, you can choose these. You can add your own by clicking here, create material, and adding your own texture. So for example, you can go add a, let's look at wood. And you can, which one do you like? I have so many. Maybe, um, let's just try this one. Dami. There, so you can define it yourself, and you can use that. Change to be bucket. So I'm going to enter this component and change how this cabinet is looking like. Yeah. You'll know immediately that this is a component because this one here is changing as well. So this obviously is not because it's messed up. I mean, sorry, it's not combined. So you can easily just change how that looks. So that's different. Good. So now we can go to camera. So for example, in camera, the important thing you want to do is scenes. Or probably before we do the scenes, we can look at shadows. If you click on this, you can activate the shadows. You can choose your time zone, basically. This always gets messed up because it bases it from the location that you place. So excuse me, here. So if this is messy, then this will not work properly. so you just have to be careful with your location and then with this at the same time. Okay. And then of course it changes according to the day. I mean to say the date. Now it's November. And also if it's morning, afternoon, and night. So if you locate your model properly, which is very important, you can actually have fairly accurate solar path and shadow studies using this. You have anything to add, Karen, here?
For the paint tool, you can also use in painting. You can also click on shift to select to color all the same type as that underneath it. Yeah. If it's not grouped.
Yeah, if it's not grouped. So, for example, here, sorry, here, like that. So, but if this is grouped, like this is grouped, then
you can paint on
it doesn't happen unless you double click inside, and then you can do that one. All right, so very useful. Okay. Now, for the cameras, you can make scenes, so you can close the, or how do you say that? Make them smaller. Default tray and go to scenes. Okay. For the camera, you can position the camera. For example, I position it here, and it's going to be that way. So now you're on the floor, basically. Basically. Yeah, so you can fix all of those settings from the camera itself. Where is that again? Height offset. So we have to first check the height offset curve. 66 inches. What is that? 5 foot something. There you go. So that's now 66 inches from the floor, and you can look around. That's what camera does. And if you like this, you can save this as a scene. You can make it a new style with that attached to the scene, or update the second style, or do nothing. Now you have a scene. And let's say you want to do another one. Let's say from here, camera, position camera, from the back of the what is this called again? It's a console. It's like a console. And let's say you like this. So you can click that, and that'll be scene 2. Now you can switch between the two. Double click. And actually, if you exported this as an animation, this is what you will get. Basically, this is what you're seeing right now. Okay. All right. What else do we have to cover? We're done with styles. Let's do styles. So within SketchUp, there are many types of styles you can choose. So for example, this one's like blueprint. It's kind of cute. It's like it's cute. It's like I can make a commercial with this, or graphic poster. Right? It's giving me ideas. Then you can use, what's that, Karen?
You can use it for posters, but not exactly for like architectural.
Yeah, I can already imagine and put a white text here and say 30% off on Now with sale. There's actually a sale. So you can use the others here. All cool, depending on what you need it for. And you can edit specifically profiles, depths, edges, extensions, halos, the type of stroke that you want to use, the detail of this stroke. And others. And of course, you can use this, the face settings, so you can go through all of these. And then you can mix it from other styles from down here. Like I want to use this one for the background. Or maybe this one for the edge. I see it change. See? So amazing thing with SketchUp is it can provide you a lot of flexibility with how you want to present your work, basically. And you can do many different things, like for example, I think this is, oh, I'm sorry. It's a higher version. of sketch. Oh,
And you can, well, I don't know. You can open it in the higher version and then save as the
you can
lower.
do that. Yeah. So the last thing we're gonna do is export, since we know how to do the 3D model. Now, let's see if this will open. Okay. So while that's not opening, let's wait for that to open. Let's thank our sponsors. Thank you very much.
What?
Thank you very much, Arc4. And I'm so glad for our one viewer right now. You have persisted in viewing us from our height of 2 viewers. So let's just look at this one quickly. So if you wanted to, this is an old one, but anyway, let's say you wanted to get a view from, let's say here, that, like that. All right. So here you would click on the file, export, let's say 2D graphics, because that's what you need for our week 11 and 12. Now you would, let's just go to desktop. You can now export this. Okay, so we can change this to residence, and then you can choose between bitmap, JPEG, TIFF, or PNG. Let's make it a JPEG. And then you can choose options, and you can use this or can change it. So in our instructions in the module 5, you'll have to change this. And you click OK. And then export. So all you have to do now is basically check how that went. So there, it's done. Okay, so do you have anything to add, Karen, regarding our, what we did so far?
No. Can't think of anything right now. But,
What's that?
No, they just have to keep using it, the software, for now. And it's
Yes.
very easy. They can learn it by themselves if they just keep using
Yes.
it.
So I just want to open the file that we just exported. See, basically that's it's now a JPEG. Okay. All right. So now let's. We finished that one. Do we have any questions from our audience of 2? Hello. There seems to be here. There's one here. My only problem is my Restream. Hello, Restream. If you're watching, there's an error. I cannot display the chat. But Luis Cabaldi is asking, "Hi, Po, can I ask a question regarding our exercise?" Yes. What is it? Please go ahead.
What exercise is your class already?
Louis, go ahead, please. Just type your question.
It's already there. Hi, sir.
Oh, hi, sir. I have a question. Given a house like the one we placed our windows in, how do you go inside, edit interior? Great. I just turned off the SketchUp that I was using a while ago. How about you? Karen, could you, expound, answer that for us?
Right. Well, you can zoom in or you can put a section cutting plane so you can see the inside and then just turn off the the section plane. Yeah. Then so you can see the interior. Or sometimes I remove the roof, but I usually group the roof or ceiling and then move it outside for a while. So that just
Yeah, you can
and then
hide things. You can use
yeah,
layers to hide things. You can use sections to cut. Um, but if you feel like there's enough space, you can actually go inside your model, right, Karen?
yeah.
Like you go inside your model. Too bad I
But
closed
I think
mine
the house is a
already.
little small, so yeah, they can just put a section. Yes.
Yes, it is a little small. The one that they are
Working
agreeing.
on.
Yeah, the one that they're doing. So,
Yeah, that's good.
and then the section plane, you can move it. So when you move it, it's cutting the building. So Louis, because it's still, you know, there's still an error here. Um, did we answer your question? And you can do your section either like vertically or even from the top. So if you do it from the top, you basically have like
Like a
a
plan,
floor plan that's
3D.
3D. So
Can
can
you
we
group
group the exterior walls and
inside?
hide them? I think that's what Karen just said, that you can group walls uh, by layering them. Or if you didn't layer them, you can group them, right? But it's easier to just use layers sometimes in SketchUp so that you can just click and it's gone. But you can do that. You can group the exterior walls and then select that group in the drawing pane, then hide. But if you have a layer, then you can just shut off the layer. Yes, Louis. Thank you. You are our most valuable viewer. So we have. Uh, do we have any more questions? Sure. Okay. So um, I guess not.
There are only two of them.
So I guess we can finish this now. Let me.
Vladimir.
Why is it now working?
No questions though for the other viewer.
But you know what? It's weird because I'm not able to um, show it on the screen anymore. Just and usually I'm able to that. But Vladimir is here. Let's reply to him. Thanks. Alright. So Vlad and is it me? Yeah. Right. So let's look at our session objectives. We went through all of them. And next meeting we will go through weeks 11 and 12, just module 5, quick rendering techniques using graphic software. So thank you very much for being here, and we will see you. Is it next week? We will. I think it's like something next week. Okay, thanks, Karen, and thanks, Art for classes. Bye.